The mission of Love Inc. is to mobilize churches to transform lives and communities in the name of Christ. And what Love Inc. does is to come alongside churches to help them serve people in need. The Love Inc. would not exist without the churches. As of this date, there are over 10,000 volunteer hours that have been given through the churches of Lake County. And Love Inc. over the years has given things to people in need, like furniture and household goods and clothing, which are obviously great things, but they don't get them out of poverty. So Love Inc. seeks to build relationships with the people that are in need, and this is done by the Love Inc. volunteer interviews a person that calls in asking for help, and they assess the validity of the needs, and then they also just hear their story. Sometimes that is really affirming to people, just to be heard. And from there, they ask the question, what has brought you to this place of need in your life? And the conversations can go on for like 1 to 2 hours, and just a relationship begins to be built between the neighbor and Love Inc. And these conversations kind of begin and end with prayer. After people go through these interview processes, if there are people that are really motivated to change their lives, they're invited to become involved with transformational ministry. And it's basically a series of classes. The first class is called Affirming Potential. And the core values of this are value, relationship, potential, participation, discernment, and transformation. And the people who live in generational poverty are usually pretty hopeless that their lives are going to change for the better. So the big push of the AP class is just to encourage people to have hope and to have dreams for their future. The class is a series of 12 videos and a small group discussion. And there's also homework involved, which the neighbors are encouraged to cast dreams for themselves and to try and make plans and goals for their future. And what's important is that a mentor will come alongside each one of the neighbors to help them in achieving these goals, and just to praying with them and encouraging them. And this is a really crucial part of the relationship, because many of these people have not had very many positive role models in their lives. I think at the end of these classes, there's always a graduation ceremony. And I know one of the things that one of the individuals shared was that these classes had really made them feel like they weren't just trash, that they did have value, which that's just so significant. My role with transformational ministry has been, I have been a small group discussion leader, which is how I got to know the woman that I have mentored. I've also led a class on boundaries by Henry Cloud and John Townsend. And that has been exciting, just to see women grasp the concept of saying no to destructive relationships in their lives. But then I've also seen a woman that has come out of the hospital after having said no to a destructive relationship. So, I mean, there's that challenging aspect of boundaries as well. The most rewarding part of being involved with transformational ministry is the relationships that I have with the women who have gone through this. I have just developed a deep relationship with Tiffany, who I've been mentoring for the last year and a half, as well as other women that have gone through the transformational ministry classes. When Tiffany first came to the Affirming Potential class, she was a relatively new believer, but I have been just so impressed with her commitment to God in the midst of incredible adversity. And she's so committed to being a positive role model for her 4 daughters, and she's trying to become employable and trying to leave a life of dependency on government agencies and others. And probably one of the best days of my life was going with Tiffany to get her driver's license. This involved a year-long process of seeking legal help from Christ Church. They have a free legal help, and we had several trips to the DMV and several trips to 2 different courts in Lake County. But at the age of 40, she got her first driver's license, and as she came back from her driving test that she passed, and we were just standing in the DMV hugging and crying. I'm sure we made quite a spectacle of ourselves. And I mean, her life is still a struggle as of now. Her place that she's lived in for the last 10 years has been condemned, and so she's desperately trying to find a permanent place to live with her children. So that's certainly a big prayer request. Love Inc. has been serving Lake County for over 25 years, but in the last couple of years we've been moving to this relational transformational ministry as a supplement to the giving. But the reality of it is that the people's lives are not going to change unless the body of Christ gets involved in their lives and makes a long-term commitment to them. And this is, I mean, it's really challenging. I feel like I've gone through the depths of despair with Tiffany and the highest peaks, but it's just so life-giving to feel like you've been a part of transforming somebody's life in Christ.